Hello. So this video is going to be probably a little long-winded because RoseCraft, am I done? Short answer, no, obviously not. I have 10 different RoseCrafts. After today, I have a delivery coming today. It's my 10th one. It's the farmhand. So what I want to say is, the more I thought on this, the more I was wondering, like you see a lot of people saying, I don't think that's maybe Andy's goal realistically, but like they'll say, can you put Case out of business? Buck, are they worried? Maybe some, in some regards, but they have flagships. So Case has a Stockman, a Trapper, and a Sodbusters, and the list goes on. They have like flagship knives, like their Stockmans are the best for me to use as an example because they have like small, medium, large, extra large, all that. Andy could do the same. He needs a flagship knife patterns because he's coming out with a lot of these rivers, and that's fine. That's amazing. But he could do that at the same time as having flagships. The reason why I say that is because I have 5 different patterns after today, the farmhand. I don't even have that in hand, but I've seen it enough to know that it's going to be one that I would consider a flagship if I were Andy, which I'm not, obviously. The Lusahatchee, to me, is a flagship. Hands down. The width of the bolster going this way just lets it feel like a chunky knife in hand. Makes you feel like you feel like a cowboy with that clip point. Buck 110. They have options. You could get a drop point, clip point, serrated blade. It's about the handle. If you wanted to put laser engraving on each one of these, like you do your Beaver Creek, another flagship. Someone sees the RC on that and the Barlow, they know it. It's a Beaver Creek. To me, it doesn't make sense to make an Otter Creek because it's a clip point. You could literally put the clip point on a Beaver Creek and be like, the Beaver Creek clip point, the Beaver Creek sheep's foot, ram's foot, lamb's foot, serrated, spade. It's just endless there. Sure, there's a lot of rivers you could name them after. You can do that on the side. Alter it a little bit. Don't make a Beaver Creek with a different stamp, obviously. That handle's perfect. 3.5. Beaver Creek. Flagship. Keep it in some kind of handle material on hand at all times so people could readily grab them. Same with this. All should be readily available in Stag because people just love Stag. That's a premium budget option, so to speak, because these are 80. Can't find a Buck 110 for $80. The problem is, like, you see like a lot of these reviewers like Metal Complex. It's not a problem. Nothing against him. He's amazing. I've watched him for many years now. I've bought a lot of knives because of him, like Hinder. I believe it's the 24 XM24 or something. I had that, sold it. I've had a Hinder fixed blade twice, sold it. I've had ZTs, sold them. 0308 or whatever, sold it. Sinkovich, sold it. Well, actually, I gave that one away. I've had a bunch of Spydercos, gave them away, sold them. Paramilitary 2, sold them. Modern knives. Slip joints, I've had a lot of Buck 110s, sold them, gave them away. Case, sold them, gave them away. Threw them away sometimes just because, I don't know, it's crappy sometimes. The QC. RoseCraft, amazing. Quality control, amazing fit and finish for the most part. You get a few, like this one here, no matter what position I have it in, the back spring's recessed in the middle. So there's no gaps or whatever, but there's still recess going on, and you get dry skin, you get gunk in there. It's not a big deal, though. It's still worth the price. It's still worth the value. This is the exception, honestly. Usually they come more pristine. This one here is pretty pristine, like open half stop. It recesses a little bit in the closed position, but it's just, they're amazing. This could be a flagship eventually. It's selling out quick enough. If I could change one thing about this, I'd make this bolster here the size of this bolster. These would be matching bolsters on each end, just like this. No line, no nothing. That would cause the tang this way to be wider, also meaning the blade would get a little wider, like the Lusahatchee. Just a little bit more meat in the hand, or a little bit more bolster in the meat of the hand, or whatever you want to say. It'd still be thinner than this bolster this way and shorter this way. But it's double bolstered, and it's an amazing knife. You could have the Barren Creek in different blade shapes. Drop point, clip point, serrated, all that. Well, I don't think he'd go serrated, but I'm just saying, like, sky's the limit. That's a definite, that's like a gentleman. This is Doc Holliday knife, so to speak. And another talking point, like people like Metal Complex that have a lot of knives come through their hands, I think there comes a point where they're, like, if you watch his reviews, they're more honest after a point. Like he said, Civivis kind of get boring. Yeah. Especially if somebody collect a lot of Civivis and they see the same thing coming out. That's like, this is new, but it's like this knife. Like, oh, this is new, but it's just like an Elementum again. Changed a little bit. Nothing like, ooh, spectacular, wow factor. That's a good thing because he gives him, well, you know, collective criticism, so to speak. He gives them positivity. He says, is it worth the money? He knows what a value of a knife should be more so than I would. He's handled a lot more premium steels and all of that. Like anybody in their right mind, they get like a Tony Bose for free, they're going to take it. But the problem with somebody like me having something like that would be like, well, it almost makes you a steel snob, so to speak. You're like, well, this is more premium quality, hand finished, by one person, and da da da. I don't know. Bottom line is, he could become a household name. Like, I think American when I see this. It's manufactured in China, but I still think American is an American company. And if he starts building them in America, you can make them more money, and you could do limited runs. You could do like, well, this one's going to get vaulted afterwards because it's only 250 made, 500 made, whatever. Premium handled material with a premium steel like Magna Cut. People would pay $200 for it, especially with RoseCraft's fit and finish, because if he's putting out budget knives this good fit and finish, how much more premium? So people are going to buy them for sure. They're going to be like, oh yeah, I got to have that Magna Cut. Even the people that buy the budgets are going to be like, yeah, I want to save for that knife when it comes out in a month because it's a limited run. It's going to get vaulted. What I don't understand is he vaulted the OG of this, the dragon scale, orange bourbon bone looking thing he had. I don't get it. To me, I almost feel like it screws the consumer in a sense because it's like, well, I just learned about you, but I really like this knife. This is my favorite knife, by the way. That's why I'm using it. This would be my second easily. This would probably be a third, if, like I said, if that bolster was different. Wouldn't change anything about it, but that would not change one thing about the Beaver Creek, period. Everything's perfect. Keep the stamp, because then when someone sees it, they're like, that's a Beaver Creek. Even if it was a clip point. Oh, that's the clip point Beaver Creek. That's cool. You know it's a Beaver Creek because the RC RoseCraft on the bolster. Put something here different. Lusahatchee. Make a difference. Stamp there, or even a shield, cowboy hat shield, a cowboy hat here, some rope, RC rope effect, logo. I don't know. Something that set it apart as a Lusahatchee. That's the Lusahatchee. It's like, that's the Buck 110. That's the Buck 112. That's the Lusahatchee. Should be a flagship. The Lusahatchee should be a flagship. This is the only knife pattern that I've had so far, probably in my entire life, that I can't stop fidgeting with. It's a slip joint. People don't usually fidget with these, but I sit here all day long. And I'll tell you why. Because look at that long pull compared to this long pull. This long pull's similar to the Nola Chucky. Look, it's right against that handle. What's that do? That makes it harder to pull. It gives it a harder pull because your fingernail has to be at more of a horizontal angle to open it. Or, yeah, horizontal. Whereas this has an angle, it makes it open easier. Doesn't mean it has an easier pull, it's just easier to open. So it opens easier, but this pull is a lot stronger. You can tell by the walk and talk. Best walk and talk in town on all these knives, man. Like, this should be a flagship. This is like the cowboy flagship knife. It's like a clip point on the verge of like a Bowie. It's iconic. Like, this Lusahatchee is iconic. Why? Because a lot of people said, oh, it's a Barlow. It looks like a Barlow almost because it has the bigger bolster, has the protruding blade out here, but that's what makes the Lusahatchee Jack the Lusahatchee Jack. Just like this is what makes the Beaver Creek the Beaver Creek. And again, that nail nicks up a little bit at an angle, up away from the handle. So easy to open with your nail. But you could also pull this one open. A lot of people can pull the Lusahatchee open. I can't get a good enough grip. I usually have too oily of fingers for that. But again, the Beaver Creek. No mistaking when it comes out in a different handle what it is. It's the Beaver Creek. Especially with the sheep's foot blade. If that's the main blade shape. That's the flagship. Should be a flagship. Should be a flagship. Could be a flagship. Maybe it should be a flagship, but to me, I would, like I said, put that bolster on that end too, make that a little wider, because when I have it in hand, it feels a little close together. And this one has bit me because I misjudged, because I was used to the Lusahatchee and the Beaver Creek. You have more room to push up, but obviously this is shorter. It's going to come up quicker. This feels really comfortable in the hand because of the swell right here. But if this swell was more even because the bolster was the exact same on both sides, it'd be even better. Problem with putting this small bolster over here is, like I said, it makes it smaller this way. And it almost becomes on the verge of in between a peanut. And like this could be his trapper of his knives, single bladed, There's like trappers that got so many blades. Stockmans have so many blades. I get all that. I'm just saying, like, his flagship single bladed double bolster could be the Barren Creek if you put this, or name it a different creek, river. I don't care, because it's like I see now he's coming out with, I don't know if it's the Hatchie River, the Hatchie Creek. I don't know what it is. I thought it was a Lusahatchee at first. Was excited, but it's not a Lusahatchee. Smaller bolster and all that. Another body of water. I know, like, releasing that's amazing. It's fine. More patterns. People get excited about it. I do. And I have no problem doing it. But in the future, I'm probably not going to until he releases another Lusahatchee, because that's my favorite. People get a favorite and then they have to wait a while, maybe a year. That's fine too. Saves on my pocketbook. But if you start releasing handles, like, take those others out of the vault and make it a possibility that they come back out. You don't have to do it right away. And you can cycle back through all the different handles. Have something readily available besides Stag. And I'd be buying another Lusahatchee next week instead of buying the Civivi, Vision FG. That's what I'm going to get this week. I'm going to buy it this week. Last week it was the Void Flare. Just like Civivi. I've watched enough of their videos to know, like, the Elementum or whatever it is a flagship. It sells really good. The Banter, the Void Flare could be another one of theirs. The Buster, that's a little gimmicky for me. I almost wanted that one, but I think it's just a little too big and gimmicky. It feels like a gas station knife feel to it when I'm seeing it. Not as practical, a little bit on the big side. People with huge hands, yeah, awesome. Anyways, their Void Flare definitely should be a flagship for Civivi. I've never even held it yet. It's on its way. I can't wait. It just looks amazing. The blood groove and all that. That's modern, though. This is this. I do want to get some of Austin's TPK knives eventually. That's where I'm tore there, because I want to try some of his stuff. Again, kind of hard to get, but he has, like, flagships. He has, like, certain kinds, like, that he releases. Like, I seen a Penguin. I don't know if that's his QSP. I don't know. Don't know enough about it. I need to do more research on Austin's stuff from TPK. It's really cool, the Indian head thing. I want some of those knives, man. Like, Yeah, they're more expensive, but I'm probably going to get some eventually. Just really great guy, just like Andy. I haven't talked to Andy like I have Austin through customer service of buying, purchasing things, but I'm sure he's just as cool to talk to. But if Andy ever sees this, which I doubt, I'm nobody, but maybe you bigger reviewers could get on board with me. Like, I just feel, I feel like kind of like sad almost. Like, really, you vaulted that? Well, you're robbing future people of that handle. Like, that's the OG Lusahatchee. That's your flagship. That orange with that jigging that you had, that dragon scale jigging, that really could have been like, this could be a household name, like a Buck 110. It's the RoseCraft Lusahatchee. It's the RoseCraft Beaver Creek. You want a Barlow? Oh, yeah, you better go get that Beaver Creek right now. It's like Beaver Creek, Otter Creek, this creek, that creek. But Beaver Creek, man, I really want a clip point Barlow. Get that Beaver Creek clip point. It's amazing. Get that Beaver Creek sheep's foot. It's amazing. Get the ram's foot, the lamb's foot. Like I said, Beaver Creek. Well, what makes it Beaver Creek? Well, it looks like a Beaver Creek. Look, with the RC. Lusahatchee. There's no mistaking that's a Lusahatchee. It's the one that looks kind of like a Barlow, but it's a Jack. It's a Lusahatchee. Barren Creek. Farmhand. You know from Case that style of a ranch knife, they call the sodbuster, sells. Your farmhand's going to do the same. You don't need to put nothing on that. That bird's eye pivot tells you what it is and the shape and all that. That's a work hand's knife. That's a ranch hand's knife. That's a working man's knife. And I know right now, before even getting the hand, I'm going to have a hard time putting it down. So now I'm going to have to excuse my language. I don't know why I was starting to cuss there, but now I'm going to have to freaking find a way. I get excited and I wanted to cuss to carry more knives. I have a bib overall, so I could carry 3 easily in my chest area. Easily. Probably more, but practicality wise, eventually, especially once the Civivi comes, because I want a modern flippers one-handed. Sometimes you need that, especially when you're fidgeting. Probably going to go with minimizing some of these. That's where this Lusahatchee is never going to leave my pocket. This is another one that might sit in my chest pocket. Probably will, actually, because it's a Beaver Creek. I feel Flagship. This one probably has a really good chance of getting put in the safe. Just because, again, nitpicking, but I'd like to have seen the bolsters the same. Well, when there's something that ain't quite right to you, doesn't feel just quite right, you don't have the tendency to pick it up as much. These are perfect. Wouldn't change anything about either one of these, except for, like I said, maybe a shield that sets it apart or some laser engraving that sets it apart to let you know that's a Lusahatchee. Yeah, the shape, the bolster, this shape lets you know it's a Lusahatchee, but to an outsider, that's seen him a couple times, they see a certain stamp. That's a Lusahatchee. That's a Beaver Creek. Everybody knows that. This don't have the otter print, so it's got the RC. That's a Beaver Creek. No matter what handle it is, that's a Beaver Creek. And as of right now, it's like that's a sheep's foot blade on a Barlow. That's a Beaver Creek. That's a Beaver Creek. So I don't know how he would go about doing all that, but like I said, he could be like clip point Beaver Creek, because you see this with that RC. That's a Beaver Creek clip point. You could even take the sheep's foot and put it on the Otter Creek because it has the otter foot. You pull it open and everybody's like, that's a sheep's foot Otter Creek? What the heck? You see where I'm going with it? He could literally make some of these flagships and always have something like it on hand. Like, well, it might not be the blue bone, the Bora Bora blue bone, but it has the red jig barn bone, or the red jig barn boat on hand right now. Maybe I should pick that up. Or he has a smooth bone in the Lusahatchee. Yeah, I got to have it. Now this, you make these, I'm going to have every one of them, but you keep vaulting them, and then eventually I'm going to go other places. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it goes. Like, you see knives everywhere. I mean, I'm going to try some TPK for sure. He's just a great guy all the way around. But I'm also going to look at the Vivi, some modern knives here and there. Slip joint, I don't want to go nowhere but here. This is where I want to be. I really don't want to be forced to go somewhere else for a slip joint flagship, because why would I? This is perfection. I want to be able to say, I got the Lusahatchee and all of these handles. I don't want to have to say it's vaulted unless it's a limited run, you know, like, oh, that's got magnet cut. Yeah, I missed that one, unfortunately. No big deal. But anyway, thanks for watching. If anybody agrees, let me know. I know I don't get a lot of comments. I don't get a lot of views. Like I said, I'm a nobody, which I'm fine with, but I want people to realize that they could be so much more. They could be a case killer in real life. Make some flagships, Andy. Keep these around. Quit vaulting them. You vault them, and I'm just like, ugh. Because then it looks like you're just chasing the money almost. I know that's not what you're doing, but it's what it looks like to me. I doubt anybody else thinks that, because I'm a unique kind of guy, kind of dumb at times, I suppose. That's all you could say. But you know what? That's what it looks like at times. It's like, well, that's vaulted. Well, he don't want to release that because he wants to release the next handle or something. Don't vault them. Just keep the possibility open it might come back out, and probably should on that original, because that's the OG Lusahatchee flagship knife. I don't know. Thanks for watching.